Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans. Bringing you sad information out of Tennessee. This story is important to me that I'm bringing to you today. I spoke with the gentleman's sister today, Mr. Chadwick Carr. He's a black male missing out of Clinton, Tennessee. And I will bring you that sad information pertaining to his disappearance. Clinton, Tennessee is a small town outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. For those of you who are not familiar with East Tennessee, the Knoxville area, it was said to me that Mr. Carr was at a rehab facility. It allegedly houses 8 to 10 males, but on a given day, it has housed 16 males. Hello, Dama Dozen. Thanks for joining me. And he went missing from that said location. There was a little bit of misinformation pertaining to his last sightings being in Knoxville, Tennessee, off of Central. But the sister made sure to let me know that that was inaccurate, that perhaps that was a week or 2 weeks before the Monday that he went missing, or last spoken to and seen by house manager of the rehab facility, family, associates, friends. And hello, Chris Thorns. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me. This case is baffling to me because once I got all the information today, I realized what I had already thought, that something is amiss with Chad's disappearance, because no one is just going to up and walk away unless they have a reason or foul play is at hand. And when I bring you this information, you will determine for yourself if you indeed think that Mr. Chad just decided to vacate being seen, wanted some time away, or something horrible has happened to him. Hold on one second, please. Thank you.
Like him to disappear for one day, let alone 2 weeks. Now they are sharing their story, hoping maybe you have seen him. WATC's on your side reporter Jordan Brown spoke to the family today. And Jordan, what did they tell you?
Well, Bo, they tell me they're not giving up. They're working with Anderson County detectives.
Sorry about that buffering. Only when I go on. Sorry about that, you guys. I prefer just reading it to you, but this always happens when I go live. Hi, Janet. How are you doing? Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for the super chat. God bless you. And thank you for the work that you also do on this box, YouTube. Amen.
Follow up on every single tip, and even though they say this behavior is unusual for Chadwick, they tell me they still have hope.
He does not do stuff like this. He doesn't just disappear.
This mother knows her son.
But I call in between the shower,
They share a bond so close, sometimes words aren't even necessary.
we don't have to talk because he knows he can come, pull up and show up and knock on the door.
So when Krista Carr's baby boy mysteriously vanished 2 weeks ago, she felt it before it was said.
Sorry about that. Just
No alarming conversations, no unusual behavior.
His best friend called me and said, you need to call this number. They said Chad is missing. And
And I was like, wait, I just talked to him. I was just on the phone with him last night.
It's been 2 weeks of agony for his family.
His phone and a flip-flop and his van keys and everything was still on the scene. He never took anything.
I don't want to think the worst. I'm not ready to think the worst. Preparation.
It's been a long 2 weeks for detectives as well, but they say they're not giving up.
The tips were really coming in good there for about 2 or 3 days. None of them actually panned out, but I'm still hopeful. I'm not going to let this go. Not till we find out something.
As difficult as all this has been, it's the hope of seeing Chad again that keeps this family going.
I'm not going to stop looking until I find him.
It doesn't matter how he gets here. Just, bring him home. I'll get to that point.
Now, the Anderson County Sheriff's Department says the investigation is ongoing. They're currently partnering with agencies in surrounding counties to help bring Chadwick home. Bo?
All right, Jordan, thank you. And if you think you have seen Chadwick Carr or you know where he may be, the Anderson County Sheriff's Department wants you to call them immediately. The number is on your screen right now. It's 865-457-2414.
Buffering a bit. Sorry about that. My connection is bad where I am. I'm going to read you the set information and then I'm going to get into the commentary. This will be a very brief live, so please bear with me. If you need verification for the storyline, please log on to WATE.com 6 News. It has been more than 2 weeks since 32-year-old Chadwick Carr from Clinton was reported missing. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. I can't get this live is hellacious today. Okay. Start over. The interview that you just heard was the mother and daughter speaking to Channel 6 News, local news station here in Knoxville, Tennessee. That was their commentary during that. You can verify this through WATE.com. We're not giving up hope. Family of missing Clinton man still searching 2 weeks after his disappearance. It has been more than 2 weeks since 32-year-old Chadwick Carr from Clinton was reported missing. He was last seen in Anderson County on May 2nd. Anderson County Detective Daryl Slater says the department has exhausted all efforts to search for Chadwick in Anderson and Knox counties, but they haven't had any luck so far. The tips were really coming in good for the first 2 or 3 days, but none of them really panned out. But I'm still hopeful. I'm not going to let this go, Slater said. My focus is now turned back to the place he was staying and doing a very in-depth interview with the residents there at that facility. His family says they have not given up hope. They want to get the word out to as many people as possible to bring Chadwick home. Carr's sister, Whitney Williams, says she last talked to him on the phone the day before he went missing. Williams says she and her brother are very close. His best friend called me and said, you need to call this number. They said Chad is missing. And I was like, wait, I was just on the phone with him last night. Williams said his phone, a flip-flop, his van keys and everything were still on the scene. He never took anything. His mother, Krista Carr, says it's extremely, extremely unlike him to disappear for this long. He does not do stuff like this. He doesn't just disappear, Carr said. Chadwick was last seen in Anderson County on May 2nd. Carr is known to frequent Knoxville and was reportedly spotted near North Central Street and Morelia Avenue on Monday. If you see him, please call 911 or the Anderson County Dispatch at 865-457-2414. And let me tell you, there was a discrepancy with that information about seeing him on that Monday that he went missing in Knoxville, Tennessee on North Central and Morelia Avenue. The sister, I spoke to her this evening and she basically said he was in the Knoxville area maybe 2 weeks beforehand. So someone got that information misconstrued. He has not been seen by her mother, friends, family, anyone. Let me say this. Mr. Carr, Chadwick Carr, 32 years of age, African-American male, single, not married, one child, 12, was at a facility that houses men to help them with homelessness, mental care, drug addiction thus far. It was told to me that he had an issue with pills back in February where he OD'd, and he willingly went and checked himself into the said facility in Clinton, Tennessee. So before the hype gets started, he willingly wanted help for himself. He was last seen on this said property at this facility. It is a halfway house, yes. He went outside to make a phone call. Allegedly went outside. The sister tells me today that she was the last one to speak with him. That she has his phone right now, and she is the last one to call him. And there were no other phone calls going out of that cell phone on that Sunday, May 1st. What happened to Chadwick Carr? Who knows something about the disappearance of Mr. Carr? As I stated, he was at a facility that he willingly checked himself into to get help. He'd been there about 90 days roughly. He just purchased a car the day before. So obviously he was in good spirits, feeling great, of course. Anyone would feel great buying him or herself a car. But the sad part of this story is that he has not been visible on social media. No Facebook posts, no phone calls, no texts to anyone. No one at the facility has seen him, the operator of the facility, manager, whomever, or the housemates, allegedly. So where is he? It has been said to me that his shoe was found the next day in the yard, in the front of the yard. Very odd. Put my glasses on because you know I'm going to need them. The queen has to be able to see. Very strange. May 1st, around 9:30 p.m., Whitney spoke to Chad, brother and sister. She had been fussing with him because she had not heard from him. And naturally, you know, this facility has a check-in time, a curfew, but he was had a weekend past that weekend. So mind you, this is Sunday. So naturally, it would be time for him to return to the said facility. As I state, he had a relapse back in the winter and checked himself in. And he had been participating in taking pills and had OD'd. So he did what he thought was best for himself to get himself some help. Amen. So this was a voluntary situation. No probation, no parole. Obviously, the people at the hospital felt like he needed help. So I'm assuming they got the ball rolling with offering this said place for him to go to. The foundation is what it is called. He also had a job and was working toward getting his own place. So that's why he continued to stay at the halfway house. And as I stated, he just purchased a car the day before. Naturally, there was a morning meeting at 7 a.m. that Mr. Carr did not attend with the other housemates. So naturally, an alarm bell went off with the said persons operating this facility. His job called that said house to notify them that Mr. Carr had not showed up for work. And then that person from the job called the house, halfway house. Then the halfway house notified someone who notified the best friend of Mr. Carr. And then that best friend notified Miss Whitney. Where was he? Why was he absent from the meeting? What happened the night before when he was outside talking to his sister on the phone? He was known to walk and talk on the phone. He hung up. I don't know if the phone got disconnected or he hung up, bad connection. She tried calling him back. No answer, no answer, no answer. What happened? His car was still there at the facility. So if he was to leave, why would he not take his own automobile? He just purchased a car the day before. And we already know that if one wants to roam and they have an automobile, they would surely drive their own car, would they not? So don't you find it strange? The car is still at the facility. He's allegedly reported missing, on a Monday? And then they find next day keys hanging in the same place in the facility where the gentlemen hang up their keys. His car, automobile, still there on the property. but a shoe is found in the front of the yard with a phone. Thank you, Calico. What happened? One shoe. We know it takes two shoes to walk in. One could have better footing with two shoes. Amen. What happened? Phone and shoe found in the front yard. Car still on the property. Keys still found inside of the facility where they hang their keys up, the men. Very strange. No calls went in or out of that phone after Whitney spoke to Mr. Chad, her brother. She has the phone. She has the wallet. The wallet has all the debit cards, driver license inside of the wallet that was also left behind. So what does that tell you? The rumors of him being in Knoxville, Tennessee, Blount County, being seen in those said locations, those situations have not panned out. And as this detective has told you that they got numerous leads the first 2 to 3 days, but none of those sightings, information have panned out. Why is that? Whitney's close to her brother, Chad, most definitely. Strange behavior. The phone has been dumped by the detectives and given over to his sister, Miss Whitney. She has all his personal effects, his car, his wallet, debit card, cell phone, keys. All that has been given to the sister. This news report aired on WATE on Monday that you just heard with Miss Whitney and the mother, Miss Krista, speaking to the news about the disappearance of Chad Carr. I asked her blatantly, what do you think happened to your brother? Do you think Chad Carr went missing from that said halfway house? She believes so. She believes somebody knows something. Now, is someone from that house, plural, involved in the disappearance of Mr. Carr? She does not know, but she thinks somebody knows something. I concur. As I state, it is alleged that the house seats 8 to 10 men in a bed per bed at this facility, but she said last knowing there were 16 men staying at this said facility at one time or another. She does believe someone there at that said house knows something about the disappearance of her brother. The house also is out in the county. They have checked surveillance cameras, the detectives, and they haven't seen any cars coming or going in that area except for a tractor trailer, from what Miss Whitney told me. No cars passing through or around the neighborhood, the area, the main road to the said house off of Dutch Valley Road in Clinton, Tennessee. And the house sits across from railroad tracks. Is that pertinent to this story? I do not know. I also question what are the people saying from the foundation, the people there, the halfway house, the people running it. What do they have to say? Basically, the detectives, she said, Miss Whitney, have shut them down to speak and publicly speak about anything pertaining to this disappearance of Mr. Carr. Asking too many questions and wanting information. And I said to her, that's to be expected, because one doesn't want to be liable for the disappearance of a client or having people who are living there involved in the disappearance of a client. Chadwick Carr is currently 32 years of age, a black male standing, weighing 230 pounds, will turn 33 August 5th of this year. Never married, not dating, and has a 12-year-old son. And I have to go back in my book to get the height of Mr. Carr, Nonetheless, this is a baffling story pertaining to Mr. Carr. Where is he? Why hasn't he called anyone? Why hasn't he told anyone where he is? I know Tweety doesn't sound right. I don't know, Seven, if they have footage there. Naturally, they should have footage there because it's a halfway house. They should. They should most definitely have cameras. Chadwick William D. Carr, gender, male, race, black, height, 5'9", weight, 230, eye color, black, hair color, bald, date of birth, 8/5/1988, county, Anderson, residence at the time, 1105 Dutch Valley Road, Clinton, Tennessee, 37716. Where is Chadwick Carr? You see, I take what I do here on the tube very serious. Days I get fed up, of course, because I'm a human being. But one thing I'm serious about are children and missing persons. And due to the fact that this is in my backyard, literally, I took it serious. And let's just say there was a reason why I took it serious. It's been too long. Hate to be negative, but this red flag, I know, Tweety. Because I knew someone briefly who I believe was staying there at the same location. And I was putting two and two together with information that said person was saying to me in a phone call a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know if this person has any knowledge of what happened to Mr. Carr, but I did inquire with this said person. I wasn't even going to reveal that during this live, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. This person asked me to describe the person that was missing from the facility. And I described the male to this male, and the male hung up on me. Thank you, Wesley. So that leads me to wonder, why would you hang up on me when I'm inquiring about someone who was possibly your housemate, if indeed you are still at that facility? And that's another thing. I don't have any knowledge if the person is still there, was there when Mr. Carr went missing, because the person didn't want to continue talking to me on the phone. But you see, the discerning spirit is what led me to finally call the said person, because of something they mentioned to me in a phone call a couple of weeks ago where they were staying. And they were elusive and would not admit that they were in a halfway house, but they mentioned the area. And it wasn't until I got a notification on my phone through Newsbreak and read the said location on Dutch Valley Road is when I put two and two together. Oh, that's where you are. That's where you've been staying. Briefly, about a week or so. And I couldn't rest. I even spoke about the situation with my mod, Miss Crystal Moore, and she said something is amiss, Angela. Something is definitely amiss, and something does not sound right with that person that you've spoken to. Happened to be staying at the same place and was once in need of trying to get out of that said place at a late hour, probably a week or two before Mr. Carr went missing. Does this person I knew of briefly know where Mr. Carr is? I do not know. Is he involved? I do not know. Does he know who's involved? I do not know. But I do find it strange that when I inquired about him and told him that the man is missing, he hung up the phone. And I let him know in a text that if you know something, you should go to the authorities and tell the truth. If indeed you know something, not saying that he knew. And I basically had some choice words for him in general because of his nasty disposition. Thank you, Wesley. I take this case serious because I spoke to Miss Whitney this evening. She looked frazzled, pretty young lady. And I feel sorry for she and her mother and their family. And if they say Chadwick will not just disappear, he would not ignore their phone calls, he would not run off, he would not play possum, then I take her word for it at face value. And I thought that before I spoke to her. And I also spoke to another relative this week, which led me to finally meet Miss Whitney via FaceTime. I'm sorry that Chadwick is missing. And I pray that you, Miss Whitney, and your mother get answers to his whereabouts. I'm praying that there is no foul play involved in his disappearance. And if you believe that your brother would not walk away from this said facility, or in general, just disappear without a phone call, text, social media post, I believe you. Because who knows better than a man's own sister and mother? Where is Chadwick Carr? Who knows where Chadwick Carr is? I decided to put his whole name in this video because he is somebody. He belongs to somebody. He is somebody's child. He is somebody's brother. He is somebody's father, friend. He is worthy because he's a child of God. Chadwick Carr, if you are somewhere in the vicinity of a phone, a computer, please call your family and let them know that you are alive and you are okay. Because they are frantic with worry and they are weary right now, wondering where the hell you are. And you also have a child who I'm sure is grief-stricken at the moment as well, alongside your mother and sister, along with your family and your friends and the community. If anyone knows the whereabouts of Chadwick Carr, 32 years of age, African-American male, last seen in Clinton, Tennessee, at the said Halfway House Foundation, please notify the authorities. Call them immediately ASAP. It doesn't matter if it doesn't seem like anything important or valid. Let the detectives be the judge of that. Please call the authorities because something is amiss with the disappearance of Chadwick Carr. You see, I already had the bad feeling once I knew I had spoke to someone who obviously was staying at that same facility a couple of weeks ago. The discerning spirit told me something is amiss, something ain't right. And the fact that he bought a car the day before last speaking to his sister told me everything. If a person wants to roam, all they had to do was put the key in ignition and get to going. And naturally, the facility has a curfew. Common sense. If Mr. Carr wanted to just take off, he was tired of being there, he could have willingly walked away, as Miss Whitney said, because he was not on probation. He was not on parole. He was not sent there as an alternative for parole or probation. He willingly checked himself into this facility. So therefore, he had no reason to play possum, duck, duck, goose with his family, his job, his child, because he was a willing participant at this facility. And the fact that the next day after his disappearance, only a shoe was found in the front yard along with his flip phone tells you a lot. Hello, Star. Did he get removed physically from the front yard? Did someone remove Mr. Carr from the said facility without his permission? Because Whitney does not believe that her brother walked away on his own, leaving behind his phone, his car keys, his new car, his wallet with his debit card, driver license inside. Why would he do that? When, as she said, he was a willing check-in client and could have left at any time and removed himself from the facility. So you see, it looks very suspicious. The disappearance of Chadwick Carr. And someone knows something. Because someone, plural, they always do. The trick is going to be who is going to be the first to give up the information. And are we talking about one person being involved, or are there more? And so far, I've heard of no other sightings of Mr. Carr in the Knoxville, Tennessee area, Blount County area, Anderson County area, nowhere. No updates on Facebook. Miss Whitney, the sister, believes he went missing from that said location in Clinton, Tennessee, and I concur. Somebody knows something. And if somebody, or plural, has anything to do with the disappearance of Chadwick Carr, have mercy on your soul. Because what reason would you have to get him gone? What did he do to you? I was told he was a very nice young man. I read Facebook posts in the beginning where people spoke very highly of Mr. Carr. I didn't see one negative post about Mr. Carr. And that is very rare in today's time, because there's always someone would have something negative to say about a person. Just a lot of praying hands, kind words. Amen. Miss Whitney, Miss Krista, know that you can always call on the Queen anytime, day or night. Any information you want relayed to this channel, I will gladly bring it forth. And when you and your mother or anyone else is ready to go live and discuss the disappearance of Chadwick, all you have to do is say the word, and I will bring you up. Miss Whitney was tired today. She has not had any rest. So that is why you do not have her here. She is not here this evening on this live, and that is to be understood. And I do want to be respectful of this family during this troublesome time. And my prayers are with you, Miss Whitney and Krista, and your immediate family. And I pray that you all get answers soon. And I want to pray for also and thank the detective who has spoken in this commentary that he's not going to let it go. And I believe him. And I thank him. And I'm grateful that he is going to remain on this case to get answers for this family. If any of you have seen Chadwick Carr 32 in the Knoxville, Tennessee, Blount County area, Anderson County area, please notify the Sheriff's Department, Anderson County. He is loved and he is missed, and his family is sick with worry. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. I want to thank you all who super chatted the Queen during this live. God bless all of you, and thank you so much. If you want to put some kind words up for Mr. Chadwick Carr, please log on to Facebook, type in his name, and you will see the said commentaries pertaining to Chadwick Carr. There will be some police information through Facebook. His sister, Miss Whitney, has a GoFundMe page. She had set that up a couple of weeks ago, trying to raise money for a private detective. I don't know if she's still trying to pursue that, but when I went in to do the check again through Facebook, the page was still up. So if you want to put some kind words on the news pages and personal pages of those who have posted, please do so and be respectful to his family, because right now is a dire time for them. And we want to pray for them because they need our prayers right now. And I'm also praying for Mr. Chadwick Carr, that he is located safe, unscathed. Amen. Thank you all for joining me. I will be back live tonight to discuss the child who was found deceased in a street in Dallas, Texas. We are going to dissect the video together if you like. I would prefer that you hit the link. I will drop the link next live, and tell me what you think of the said video that is now being aired on YouTube. I finally watched it last night after going live. I said I was not going to watch it because I didn't want to go to sleep on that image of someone being inside of a home, kidnapping a child. But nonetheless, I watched it. It was very creepy and scary to me. I don't know what in God's name is going on out there in Texas, but it ain't good. As you know, there is a suspect that has been apprehended, arrested on a $1.5 million bail in connection to the kidnap and murder of this said 4-year-old child. And some of you are indifferent about if he is indeed the right suspect, and that possibly others are involved in this kidnapping and death of a 4-year-old. I will bring you that information later tonight. Please join me. Please hit the link to join the panel. Please keep your eye open for those of you who live here in East Tennessee for Mr. Chadwick Carr, who is currently missing out of Clinton, Tennessee. His last location was at a halfway house called The Foundation. Anyone has any information to the whereabouts of Mr. Carr, please call your local authorities, Clinton, Tennessee, the Anderson County Sheriff's Department. Call somebody ASAP. And as they say, if you see something, say something. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.